Brutal day in crypto with heavy losses seen across the altcoins. Is it about to get much worse, or is it time to buy the dip? In this video, I'm going to tell you what is the cause behind what has just happened and what will happen after this. So if you want to know what to do to prepare, hit that like button and let's get into today's video. Now guys, as we look across to crypto bubbles, things look pretty brutal. We've seen heavy losses in the top 100 coins, with coins like Kronos down 20% in a single day. But if you've been stacking up on small cap coins recently, you're probably feeling the pinch a bit, because some of the smaller cap coins are down as much as 52% today. So what the F has been going on, and is it going to get worse? Well guys, this is Bitcoin, and as you can see, Bitcoin has been pulling back a little bit in the last couple of days. Having seen highs recently up towards $90,000, it then pulled back 5.1%, and the price currently sits down around 2.7%. And here's what you need to know. If you're overly invested in small cap coins, then this is very typical. You can enjoy some good upside, but you can also get heavily shaken out when the downside moves come in. Therefore, especially early on in crypto bull markets, you should be making the most of large cap altcoins that don't see such brutal sell-offs, but see much bigger upside potential. And I've been covering that in the last 2 videos I've made. And if you've been missing out on which large cap altcoins I've been buying into, then make sure you subscribe to the House of Crypto, because this is how you can make the biggest gains without such downside risk that you're probably finding out about today. So first things first, let's look at the Bitcoin chart, and then let's identify what the cause is of this little pullback. Well, from a chart perspective, you probably will be like, well, just look at the Fibonacci retracement, where you can take from this swing high down to this swing low here, and you can see that the 1.618 golden ratio comes in at this blue line at 88,831. Isn't it interesting how the Bitcoin price hits this area and pulls back? But why does that happen? Well, because when Bitcoin goes past this top, it's very difficult to work out where Bitcoin's going to pull back. And lots of traders out there are probably anticipating the 1.618 as being the next area of resistance. Therefore, they all start to sell around this price and we get a cool off. Not only that, but the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is running in extreme greed levels. And it's because of this that yesterday I decided to close all of my long trades. I did this because I was a bit over leveraged, but also because of a huge amount of froth in the markets. So many people were telling me why Bitcoin was going to go to 100k, why it was going to go to 500k by Christmas, and I was like, I've had enough of this. So I did a Warren Buffett, and I thought to myself, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. And since everyone was being incredibly greedy, I thought we would do a shakeout. And if you missed this call, make sure you're following me on Twitter, because these things change very quickly and I need to be able to update you when things happen. And that's the easiest way to do it. So make sure you're following the House of Crypto 3 on Twitter. Make sure it's got the blue check mark, and then you can find out when I'm closing some of my trades. I also took a short trade on Doge, which is probably a little bit on the risky side, but banked $88,000. So let me know down below if you want me to update some of the trades that I'm doing over on Twitter, and I will. So what then? Does that just mean that crypto's done and we're going to see a big, massive pullback? Well, no. All you got to do is look back to the last bull market and we can figure out what's going on. During the last bull market, when Bitcoin first broke above previous bull market highs, you can see that the Bitcoin price rallied extremely hard very quickly, going all the way up around 28% to $24,500. At which point, Bitcoin pulled back around 9%. Bear in mind, Bitcoin has only pulled back 5% so far, and some of the altcoins have been pretty brutalized. Following that, it seemed like Bitcoin ran really hot, but multiple times you saw big sell-offs, 8.7%. Another one up here, 19%, before another big sell-off of 31%. And then this continued all the way. So why am I showing you this? Well, I'm showing you because the pullbacks in bull markets are completely natural. And we are in a bull market because the bull market is being driven by global money supply. You can see the global money supply is about to hit all-time highs after a recent dip, which was what the bear market was, by the way. When this runs into all-time highs again with the US printing money and also the global monetary supply with China printing a bunch of money, China now rumored to be legalizing Bitcoin. Whether that happens or not, I wouldn't be so sure. Donald Trump being pro-crypto, you know the news, right? We know why we're having a bull market and why this bull market will continue aggressively. But is it time to buy the dip then? Well, not just yet. I'll tell you how I'll be buying the dip and coins that I'm probably going to be buying on that dip slightly later on. But we need to understand something really, really important, because yesterday when I'm in my membership groups, which are linked down below if you want to check them out, I was seeing people asking which coins to buy all day long. They were asking me, is it too late to buy this? Is it too late to buy this? And this showed me that we were higher up in this Wall Street cheat sheet psychology than maybe I thought we were. You see, as we move out of optimism into belief and thrill, we get a lot more jagged price action, where people take advantage of people who are too emotionally charged during this market right now. Now, I don't think we're necessarily into euphoria phase yet, where people are literally going crazy and calling you an idiot if we were going to have any form of a pullback, because yesterday when I said I was closing my long trades, people were actually pretty supportive. At the top of a bull market, people will be full of hate and telling me I'm an idiot. And that tells me that we're not quite at euphoria just yet. But many people are like, we're not going to get pullbacks like that in the last bull market because we got BlackRock buying the dip. We've got Michael Saylor buying billions of dollars of Bitcoin every 5 minutes. We've got this happening, we got that happening. And this is where I'm urging you to ignore the news and just follow the mentality of the people around you. But this is why it's no different. And if you're subscribed to the channel already, you'll understand this. This chart is nearly 400 years old, and it comes from Holland, where back in 1634, everyone was trying to buy tulip bulbs. And pay attention, this is so important, because you can see that people were trying to buy these tulip bulbs from flowers to be able to make more money. And the rumors were getting out that these tulip bulbs were the best thing to buy. Everyone started to buy them until the price of these tulip bulbs reached 4 times the salary of an average shoemaker, by which point the whole market collapsed and people lost literally everything. And this is because charts aren't about the news and information around you. They're fundamentally about the greed versus the fear of the people that are investing in them. So if ever you find yourself being too greedy, you can expect a pullback, because that's the way the market works. And that's going to allow you to be cool and calm the next time a dip comes. So is it going to get much worse in the short term? Well, no, guys, probably not too bad, because we are still quite early on in this run. And a lot of these altcoins have seen that initial shakeout of all of the money that's been entering in at the top. You see, that money that's been entering in at the top are mostly retail investors, and it's probably mostly new people who've been buying into the likes of Sol, which I know was pumping about 150% just yesterday, and has now shaken everyone out who is buying at the top. So what do we learn? Well, stop buying the top of these big green candles for one, just because you've heard of some news story telling you that Dogecoin can continue higher, or some influencer has been telling you that Doge is going to go to the moon, or Sui will keep going up. Because without fail, the coins that have been pumping the hardest will see some of the biggest pullbacks. This is Sui, top 100 coin. You can see it dipped 15%. Which is not too bad. So how much worse can it get for Bitcoin? Well, we're probably around the halfway stage for the Bitcoin bull market. You can see that there's a huge amount of search volume now on Bitcoin over on Google Trends. Not as big as it was back in the last bull market top, but it's a good indicator that we're starting to see a spike in an upwards direction. And that's because Bitcoin price is now being plastered all over the media. Look, media attention. This is a usual indicator that we're probably heading into this phase of the market, maybe just beyond it now. But here's what you got to understand. All of the utility coins that you've been buying in the last few weeks that have been going up significantly are just having a little bit of a correction. And actually, many of them are now in prime positions to be able to load up on. So this is the fun bit. Which altcoins would I be buying right now should I have the opportunity? Now, there's an argument to be had for saying that coins like Sui have been running incredibly hot and still now start to give us a little bit of a better entry. Now, on the daily, this doesn't give us much of an indicator whether Sui is a good coin to be buying or not. But what we can do by going to a 1-hour chart is identify something significant. Every time in the last kind of few days that Sui has been entering into this zone down here, we can see significant pushes higher. Okay, you can see it bouncing out of here every time. Now, can Sui go lower should Bitcoin sell off more? Absolutely. But do you know that Bitcoin's going to sell off more? Because many people don't really know. Okay, and therefore we know that Sui has the potential to go much higher because it's already been very bullish, and it's starting to give us good value in this area. And I'll show you the best way to enter into coins like this slightly later on. But I get it. If you've been subscribed to my channel, you probably don't want to buy Sui because it is quite high up right now, and there's actually probably some better value tokens. For example, Ondo. Now, I've been talking about this chart pattern, which is the easiest chart pattern to identify when we're about to see a reversal back towards the upside. What you can see, and people have been asking for me to do this step by step, but I don't know how much more step-by-step I can do than this. This was earlier in the year. It's actually June. Most coins in crypto pretty much peaked between March and April, but Ondo was a little bit later. You can see that it then ran down, okay, bouncing and creating this downtrend. Draw yourself a line. Following that, you can then go and click on the paintbrush and hold it down. This is tradingview.com, and go and click on the arc. Here you can draw across, click, drag it down, and you can see that you can create this cup pattern, which shows this rounded base where you have the downtrend turning into an uptrend. Now, what's very important to note is often when coins break beyond previous resistance, this is resistance when the price is bouncing into something it can't get back down, whereas this is support, it can't go down, it keeps going back up. Here we can see the price is resisted, it gets bounced back down, it does it again, and it seems to form the top of this cup. Ondo then breaks this cup and comes back to retest previous resistance. Previous resistance becomes future support, okay? And previous support will become future resistance when we get into a bear market. But right now, Ondo is just testing the top of this cup, making Ondo, in my opinion, a fantastic altcoin to be able to enter into at this current price, because it's testing and it's showing it's being bought in this area right now. What else is showing similar things? Now you can see AOS. Well, I've put the cup down there. Actually, you could say maybe there's this resistance area here. Okay, resistance bounces down, was also previously support. It breaks up through, it comes back down to test this area of previous resistance. AOS right now is in a good entry area, in my opinion. Can it come a little bit lower? Absolutely, but I don't think it's going to come significantly lower than where it's at right now. But I've been wrong before, and I can be wrong again, which is why entering into these larger caps is the best move. Because if AOS does have a little bit further trip down here, it might see another 10% sell-off, 15% sell-off, but you can stomach a 15% downside if you know that the upside is looking like a 10x or more. MEXC, you can see, has come out of its cup pattern, it's come back, and now it's perfectly retesting the top of this area. So why these coins? Well, Ondo is one of the largest market cap real-world asset cryptos out there. It's backed by BlackRock, the biggest finance company in the world, with $10.2 trillion of assets under management. They own nearly 2.5% of the Bitcoin supply right now. They're heavily bullish on crypto, so they say. Larry Fink, the CEO, has told everyone that BlackRock will be tokenizing assets, basically moving traditional assets and commodities on-chain. Platforms like Ondo will massively benefit from that. As institutions start to invest in various tokenized assets, they will use regulated platforms like Ondo to do this. That's why Ondo is a good bet. MEXC gives you access to the GameFi niche. GameFi is a great niche to be in because it's one of the top trending niches, of which we've got GameFi, real world assets, AI, and Deepin to look at this bull market. Obviously, there's meme coins as well, but that's much more difficult. If you're newer to crypto, stay away from the memes. Just stick to the easy stuff and you won't go too far wrong. MEXC is a layer 1 built for gaming. They have around 30 new games being built on their platform right now. It's being utilized. It's actually making money. Okay, rare in crypto, I know, but these projects will see good upside when gaming pumps, when real world assets pump, etc. AOS will obviously benefit from the AI narrative. AOS has also been one of the only projects to speak at NVIDIA. Also, we've seen Near Protocol do that. Near Protocol probably has a similar chart to this right now. AOS, not a bad bet in my opinion. And a lot of these larger altcoins that you've all been looking at over the last few days. Render, you can see, same downside track, has the cup, builds the cup, people come back, price goes up, price pulls back into this zone, retest that previous bit of resistance that's now flipped to support, things go, okay? Now, I know a lot of people are new. What am I talking about resistance? The price goes into this line, it comes back down. It goes into this line, it comes back down. This is resistance. If the price was going sideways and bouncing on another line, this would be support. So, for example, this would be support. This up here is resistance. You get the picture. But sometimes when the price is falling towards the downside, it's tricky to know whether you should sell or whether you should buy, okay? And there's ways to overcome this emotion because it's the emotion that will wreck you in this bull market. And typically, you buy coins at the start of bull markets and you buy dips. So if we wanted to get into Render, and let's say we wanted to get into it a little bit later on, how are we going to do that? Well, first of all, I want to identify the price at which Render has already pulled back to and could pull back to again, which is around 6.472, which I'm going to write down, which I'm going to quickly write down. Then I'm going to come across to OKX. And the reason I'm using OKX today rather than some of the other exchanges I use, one is because I recommend that you use multiple exchanges. I've got links down below for OKX as well as Bitunix. I recommend using different exchanges because it gives you wider exposure to different tokens and also means you can make the most of these bonuses. And I really wanted to bring OKX because right now they offer you the ability to claim up to $60,000 per individual user that's trading on OKX. You can also win things like iPhones, iPads, Apple Watches, etc. Just by trading like $100 on OKX, you can potentially win 60,000 US dollar tether, which I know is literally life-changing money. Okay, so if you want to be able to win this, then go and sign up for OKX, link down below. So let's figure out how to use OKX. We're going to click on trade and then we're going to go down to where it says spot. What I then want to search for is render, because that's the one I wanted to buy, remember. I'm going to click render. And by no means am I telling you as an investment advice to buy render. I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. This is just a trade I want to set up for myself and I want to show you the process by which you can get the best value possible. Now remember, render has already seen a dip down to these prices. Therefore, I want to tell myself that if this dip happens again, I want to be able to buy into render, but I don't want to sit around and wait for that to happen. So what I can do is where it says trade and making sure I have render up here is instead of selecting market, which will buy the current price, I can select limit and then I can select the price at which I want to buy render. So as I've written down, which was 6.472, I can come down to where it says price and I can write 6.472 and I can say the amount of render that I want to buy. So for example, I can see I've got $10,000 or just over $10,000 available. Here I'm just going to write I want to buy $2,500 of render should that price be hit. I hit buy render. I confirm that that's the price I want to buy at, and you can see now my buy order, my limit order is put here. Now, if the price never gets down there, then I don't get into a trade. That's fair enough. Maybe I can close it for another day, but this is a great way to stay disciplined in crypto, to be able to be buying the dips rather than emotionally aping in on those big green candles, which you might have been doing over the last few days. And that's probably why it hurts a bit today to see those big pullbacks. Don't worry, 99% of the coins that you're holding will recover significantly bigger than those losses that you might have incurred in the last couple of days. Just be cautious. Don't go and sell dips when suddenly you get quick sell-offs, because that's when you lose most of your money, when actually you're better off to hold the dips if it's already happened. Sell on the days when everyone is bullish on crypto and telling you to buy more, probably like yesterday. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure that you're not overly exposed to smaller cap coins, that the majority of your portfolio is in larger caps, and you won't be so hurt on days like today. Go and look at the ones I've talked about. Tomorrow, I'm going to make a video on my top AI pick. So if you want to see the AI video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Go and sign up for an OKX account. See if you can win yourself $60,000, because then you're going to have the best bull market of all time. Hit the like button. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.